Very good. So, welcome back, Darren. Good to see you. Welcome, Venkat, new member
Hello,
as well.
thank you. Am
Glad
I
you could
audible?
make it. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
I'm so glad I was able to make it finally after so many months of delay. Apologies for that. Part
Oh,
of the
good.
group.
Tony is on the same boat. He was just saying exactly the same thing. You're not alone. Okay, and Marco, one of our regulars, is coming in. All right, so let's make a start, everyone. So, a warm welcome to our regular members and extra warm welcome to our new members. So this is roundtable number 13 of the Mindful CIO community. And the theme for today is diversity and inclusion in tech. So the intention of these roundtable events is really twofold. Number one, to explore ways to make the Mindful CIO Manifesto a reality in our teams and organizations. And number two, probably more importantly, to connect you with like-minded peers and inspiring tech leaders, such as Margaret Dawson, that we have today as our guest speaker. So we'll start as usual with the acknowledgement of country. So in the spirit of reconciliation, the Mindful CIO creators, contributors, and champions, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend the respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So, would love if you could keep your camera on. If you have any questions, please share in the chat. Suzanne, our co-host for today, will keep an eye and we'll address as soon as we can. And as you know, the event is being recorded and some segments will be available on our YouTube channel. So the plan for today is to shortly go through a brief introduction. I'll invite you to share your name, your organization role, and one word that describes how are you feeling right now. Then we'll move to the first highlight of today's roundtable, which is the conversation with Margaret. And after that, we'll move to the breakout room for discussions. And we aim to close at 2 p.m. sharp. So most of you are familiar with me. I'm Nat, have worked in tech space for most of my, what I call my first career in organizations like IBM and Ernst & Young back in Brazil, where I'm originally from, and Accenture and others here in Australia. And about 7 years ago, my passion for tech reduced and my passion for human behavior increased, and I moved to facilitation training and executive coaching. So predominantly today, I teach at Monash University, the Australian Institute of Management, and run my own executive coaching for tech leaders. We are looking for sponsors. So if you know an organization that it's purpose-driven and keen to partner with us, please let us know. Some good news to share. We've been invited to speak at the IT Directors Forum in Greece. So the Mindful CIO community is going to Greece. So I thought I would share. These are some good news. And funnily enough, Margaret, I had those pictures on, deliberately because I had a laugh when I saw, not many women, as you can tell. Interestingly enough, I think there was me and another one or two. Anyhow. Yay, Zach is here. Okay, so and Dave Ho as well, everyone arriving. Okay, so what are you doing next? As I mentioned before, I'd love to hear from you. Name, organization, role, and one word that describes how you are feeling right now, which could be morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are. Welcome back, Zach. Such a long time. Good to see you. Dave Ho, welcome. I'm glad you made it as well. A few new faces. So you arrived just at the moment that we are going around for a quick introduction. So I might start with Suzanne, our co-host for today.
Great. I'm Suzanne, and I am based in Hobart, Tasmania. I'm an executive coach and facilitation specialist through my company, New 21. And I'm very, very excited about today because this topic is very important to me and near and dear to my heart.
Thanks, Suzanne. Chris.
My name's Chris Handley. I'm the Chief Information Officer at Nazarbayev University in Kazakhstan. And no, I didn't know where that was either when the headhunters called in the beginning. And the one word that describes me, describes my whole career as a CIO, and it's two words actually, pathologically optimistic, because I couldn't do my job if I wasn't.
Thank you, Chris. Love that. Tony.
Tony Young, normally based in Sydney, currently in Melbourne just for this week. I work for a company called Linkley. I'm the Chief Technology Officer there. So I look after the technology teams spread across Sydney, Melbourne and Auckland. One word to describe me right now, honestly, swamped, distracted, take your pick.
Okay, thanks for the honesty, Tony. Darren.
Oops.
Oh, mute. You're still mute. Classic. Thank you.
I'm Darren. I'm the Chief Information Officer for a educational technology company called E2 EdTech. Word to describe is I'm just feeling disorganized today.
It is what it is. Thanks, Darren, for sharing. Marco.
Thanks, Nat. Yeah, my name's Mark. I'm based in Melbourne, work for a company called Tanto Security. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm going to take a word from Tony as well. I'm feeling pretty distracted and swamped, so I certainly hope to fix that on this session.
Okay, thanks, Marco. Zach.
Hi everyone, my name is Zach Scott. I'm based here in Melbourne as well. I'm a CIO or CTO, dependent what the role requires. I'm currently working for an AI startup in AI and e-commerce space. How do I feel today? I can very much relate to Chris' words about pathologically optimistic. That's just part of the role. I totally agree. I'm also a bit exhausted. I just had to travel to town and back this morning in the rain, which is always quite fun in Melbourne.
Venkat, I should say.
Yeah, thanks, Nat. Hello, everyone. My name is Venkat. You don't need to try and pronounce my full name. I know I've got a long one, so you can call me Venkat. I'm based in Melbourne, working with an organization called Accenture in the tech consulting space. And I'm probably the only one not to be in the C-suite here, I believe. I'm a tech arc manager working with Accenture over the last 15 years. Word that describes me, I will go with consciously optimistic, as I'm trying to find a way through, despite all that's happening around us at work and the personal life. So consciously optimistic and excited to be part of this group. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Venkat. Dave, welcome back. You are still mute, Dave.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I've switched to mobile. Hopefully you can hear me okay now.
Yes, loud and clear.
Excellent. So yeah, Dave Hall here. So I currently work as Executive for Business Lending at NAB, but finishing up there at the end of this week to focus on other things and potentially relocate to the UK. I also run a social enterprise charity called Womble Tech, which is aimed to try and get devices, laptops, etc., to people in situations of disadvantage. I've always been a very passionate sort of people person, and I guess really connected with some of the philosophies and drivers of the Mindful CIO manifesto, etc. And so I was very sort of keen and big believer in diversity and inclusion for multiple reasons. So I'm not sure what I was supposed to cover in the intro, so I'll stop there in case I'm going too far.
You're doing it well. Thanks so much, Dave. I think that was everyone. And for me, I think that what the words I want to share is exhausted, but very pumped and excited to have Margaret Dawson here as well. And, be able to meet you and discuss with you all this very important topic. I was leading a workshop on emotional intelligence at work yesterday and Monday, 9 to 5. So pretty full on, but I'm excited about our conversation today, and that's giving me energy. So on that note, let's continue just a few more things before we start the conversation with Margaret. So you are in great company. So you received this list, which is showing everyone who signed up for today. We have a couple of apologies, Lisa and Michael, and Simone. I think she might join us later due to a meeting she had at lunchtime. But yeah, so we'll try always to mix people so you get to know some new people. But we'll have a small group today, so we'll have probably 2 breakout rooms. But that's the people that actually sign up for today. Top prize, you might be lucky to win a copy of The Mind of the Leader. Most of the regulars have a copy already. This is a book that was published by Harvard Business Review in 2018. I made a very small contribution to the research, but I was lucky enough to be acknowledged as one of the part of the author team. And the book's about leadership in the 21st century and how mindfulness, selflessness, and compassion are so critical for leaders in the 21st century. Thanks everyone who was here last month. We made a contribution to the Black Dog Institute for the projects on mental health research and education as usual. And before we have a chat with Margaret, I'd like to invite you just for a few minutes for us to do a short grounding exercise. So if you feel comfortable, you might want to close your eyes or maybe keep them open, whatever works for you. And feel free to switch off your camera for a few minutes if you prefer. And I invite you to have your feet flat on the floor. Rest your hands on your thighs and keep your spine straight but not rigid. Shoulders relaxed. You might want to take a couple of deep breaths if that feels right for you. And then bring your attention to the sounds in the environment. So listening to the sounds in the distance. Listening to one sound at a time. And then move your attention to the sounds within the space you're in. Again, simply listening to the sounds. There's no need for analysis or commentary. Simply listening. And you might even notice the sounds of your own body breathing, the subtle sounds of your breath. Next, bring your attention to the movements of your body breathing. So just noticing what happens to the abdominal region or the chest as you inhale and exhale. You might notice a slight extension as you breathe in and a gentle contraction as you breathe out. But again, there is no need to modify or change in any way. Simply notice the body breathing without your interference. Trusting that the body knows how to breathe. And next, bring your attention to the rhythm of your breath. So noticing if it's long or short, deep or shallow, fast or slow. Just noticing as it is. Good. And as we're about to close the short grounding exercise, just remind yourself that this is a safe space. and you're here with like-minded peers, although some people you haven't met before, but a very similar intention. So with that in mind, you can slowly let go of the practice and open your eyes if you have them closed. Thank you for joining me. And we have now, I have to